So back in 2023, we bought our first batch of meat chickens here on the farm. And they were consistent of, I believe, 25 or 30 Freedom Ranger chickens, which are like dark brown chickens. They look very similar to like golden buffs, except they're a little bit darker and they don't live as long. But this year we got a different one. We got the Cornish Crosses this year, which are ones that look like white leghorn chickens, except they're a bit bigger, of course, and of course they don't live for as long. Today I'm going to be determining which one is greater for you to begin. And today we're going to be picking that one out just for you, and I'm going to show you exactly what you have to do to raise each of them if you want. And so, which better way to start off with than, of course, the Cornish Crosses. We're going to start off with those Cornish Crosses because, personally, I think they're the ones that taste better than the Freedom Rangers when you actually, like, butcher the chickens. We'll get into that a bit later. Sadly, I can't actually show you the process. First of all, because that process would get age restricted. But second of all, because, like, I don't have those chickens on me at the time, but I can describe vaguely what's happening. You can, if you want to, you can go look this stuff up. Viewer discretion is advised if you want to, though. So, this chicken is a completely white chicken, and their average lifespan is maybe 8 weeks. So like you get them in like maybe March, and we harvest them in May, so they don't really have a long lifespan. They only live for like a couple weeks, and what's really notable is they grow really quickly. And with the way that they're bred to grow really quickly, they aren't going to be like the most healthy when they're growing up. So when those chickens are growing to their full size, you're gonna really notice that some of them might die because of like issues like heart attacks or something like that. With that, it's best to not really intervene, like try to like put down the chicken if that ends up happening, because that type of stuff is really common with these types of chickens. They die more frequently when they're growing up, but these chickens are specifically meant to grow up really quickly. That's why a lot of the big chicken industry uses them, because of how quickly they are to grow into full-size chickens and how frequently they can get them. For us farmers, we usually get them 2 times a year. We get them once in like the early spring, and once again like in the late summer, so we can grow them again. However, is that the greatest one? However, to that I personally have to say probably not. They are really great, but at the same time they're a big pain to manage, and they weigh a lot more than your average chicken because of the way their weight is distributed. I'll go to Freedom Rangers in just a minute, but I do want to cover some really basic information on these guys that I might not have covered beforehand. First of all, I'd recommend getting a smaller number if you already have a hoop coop prepared, because trust me, they are a lot bigger than a lot of the other ones that you'll get. This is our hoop coop that was specifically designed for 30 Freedom Rangers, not 30, what's it called? Because as you can see, this coop is not nearly big enough for 30 Cornish Crosses. We did have 15 instead of 30 because we took note of that. The Freedom Rangers can fit in here. The Cornish Crosses, not so much. You see, this hoop coop right here is exactly a great place for them to go out to. And I say, once they're fully feathered and the weather gets nice enough out there, you could probably move them right into that hoop coop right there because of how quickly they're able to get adjusted to the outdoors. And now let's move on to the arguably greater one. In my opinion, if you guys raise both of them, don't forget to go down below and create your own point for one or the other. Trust me, I'm not going to like shame you for liking the other one, bro. In fact, I'll actually help support your argument if you want to. So comment that down below if you think the other one is better. But in my opinion, these guys are just a bit better than this. They are a lot more of a hands-on experience. The Freedom Rangers, as I said, they kind of look like this golden buff chicken I have right there, except there's no like speckles of white on them. They're all just completely like dark brown, and they're a whole lot bigger than my golden buff chickens. Mainly because these chickens aren't a year old yet, so they're still technically pullets. But as you can see, not nearly as big as they get. Instead, we bought these in like early March, and they weren't actually ready for harvest until June. So if you want a lot more of a quick harvest, then of course the Cornish Crosses are the way to go. But these guys offer you a little bit more time and energy to be able to like raise them, and in general they're actually a bit more friendly. When you move them outside, they actually are able to walk around for a little bit. Like the Cornish Crosses, for like a week before they're actually due to harvest, it's really hard for them to walk around, but these guys walk around really good until like that last 2 or 3 days. And I think it's a really cool thing that they can do, and I think they're really nice and tame. You can like hand feed them or whatever. My one tip though, don't get attached to them and don't name them. I will always repeat these in these types of videos where I talk about how to raise meat chickens, because trust me, you don't want to like be naming them and say, oh look at this chicken's name is like Fluffball or something like that, and then when it comes time you have to slaughter the chicken. So really, I'd recommend not naming them. But if you're gonna raise egg laying chickens, then I'd say it's fine to name them like we do over here. Like we have chickens like Puff and not Brown. I almost said the original name for T-Rexa. Yes, we do have an ISA Brown named T-Rexa that you guys actually voted to name last August. That was about a year ago at this point, which is surprising. But yeah, these chickens are a whole lot more tame, but I'd recommend not naming them for obvious reasons. Now, if you're first time harvesting these chickens, I'd recommend getting somebody to help you guys out, because that first time is going to be really difficult. And if you're not a big fan of watching animals get slaughtered, then you can probably send them off to somebody that'll help do it. But if you do enough background research, know all the tools, and know how those tools work, and know how to make sure it's as painless as possible, then you, my friend, are good to go. Just make sure to like know what you're doing and get a little bit and know exactly what it is. Sometimes you can just rent out these tools for a lower price, or like what we did this year, we actually bought the tools ourselves and we have them when we need them. But for the most part, you're probably just going to end up renting out the tools if you don't know how it's going to go. In general, from what I understand, harvesting 30 meat chickens took like 3 to 4 hours from what I remember, and it wasn't a terrible process, and you do actually get a ton of meat from the chickens in the outcome. I live with 5 other people in my household, and we still have chicken from last year, which is actually surprising because we go through chicken pretty quickly because we have chicken like 2 times a week. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to go down below, click that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a whole lot. Our goal is, of course, to reach 4K before the end of the summer. I regret saying 4K by July because that never ended up happening. So yeah, if you enjoyed, click that video on the center of the screen. It is my chicken podcast, not really a podcast, with all the different chicken videos on it, waiting for you personally right there. And I'll see you guys in that playlist. Find yourself a video if you don't want to watch that on the channel. There's tons for everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.